Yeah.
Hi babies, so welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to film another video for you guys. This, you've already probably, I don't know which video is going to go up first, but one of the videos, I have like the same hair and makeup because I did a makeup look on this makeup, and then I did how to slick back your hair. So, those are in like the same video, so you're going to see that on my channel twice. So, obviously they were filmed in the same night. Relax. Also, I'm on FaceTime on my laptop with my boyfriend. That is annoying me. So if you hear something in the background or anything like that, it's him coughing. He smokes weed. He coughs, you know. You just never know with him what he's gonna be doing. So also I'm gonna be looking at my laptop because I am doing the alternative black girl tag, and I have the questions on my laptop. I took it down to 6 questions. I was gonna do like 10, 15, 20, like see how much I could like accumulate from just like Google research and watching other girls do their alternative black girl tags. But I talk a lot, so I was like, maybe I should just do like a couple and not do like a super long video, because I'm known to do super long videos. All of my videos are like well over 10 minutes. So yeah, so let's just like get right into it. So the first question is, do people judge you? I would also like to make a disclaimer. I classify myself as alternative, which is one of the reasons that I'm doing this tag. I don't dress alternative all the time. My like style switches up and changes from girly girl to gothic to everything else in between. So don't try to clock me or come for me saying that I'm not alternative. Like, go somewhere, because go somewhere. That's all I have to say. Like, I don't dress like that all the time. I don't dress alternative or gothic or whatever you want to call it all the time. But it is a part of my style. It is something that I fully embrace, and I don't care about to rationalize or like justify to other people. Mind your business. That is all. So, first question is, do people judge you? Yes. Obviously people judge me. I mean, I've always been judged. It's just something that, number one, it's human nature to judge. It comes along with everyday life. Somebody out there is going to judge you. It doesn't matter if you're feeding homeless kittens and puppies. There's going to be somebody out there that's going to judge you. So, obviously people judge me, especially when I do dress more alternative with, like, I shave my eyebrows off all the time. So when I do that, and then I have pink hair, I've had, what color? I've had blue hair, I've had half pink, half black, I've had half blonde, half black. So I get looks all the time. 9 times out of 10 though, it's not necessarily bad judgments. It used to be when I was growing up. I used to get asked if I worship Satan. I used to be asked, you know, just all types of like, did I sell my soul? Like, just dumb questions that you're just like, what? So, but anymore nowadays, for those of you who don't know, I am 20. I turn 21 next week. In 2 weeks. My bad. I turn 21 in 2 weeks, so that's going to be another video for you guys. I'm really, really excited to film that video and, you know, film me drinking legally, because your girl is finally 21. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, I am 20. Anymore nowadays, because I am, like, more adult, I do get looks still, but they're not bad all the time. Even from older people, I don't really get asked if I worship Satan anymore. I think they might think it, but they don't say anything to me, so it's cool. The second question is it hard being alternative and black and a black woman? Yes. I will speak in like different ages. When I was younger, I was born in 1999, and so growing up in like the early 2000s, there wasn't a lot of alternative black girls that I saw that were popular, like I feel like you really had to look for them. Like you really had to, like, I know that there are some bands that I didn't realize it that were there when I did grow up, but obviously I just didn't know about them. So when I was growing up, I never saw black girls that were like me. You know, it was really hard growing up because you do want to see yourself represented in a style that you want to wear. It gives you confidence. It makes you feel like, okay, this is okay. And I just didn't see that when I was growing up. So it was very hard. It was very hard being a young black girl and being alternative or being goth. Because people assumed that I was depressed, which I was, but like that didn't change how I dressed. People assumed that, you know, I worship Satan, like I said. People assumed a lot of different things. I went to a Christian school, so I'm not going to say the name of it, but I went to a Christian school from the 6th grade to the 9th grade, and it was majority white. It wasn't all white kids. Of course, there was like Hispanics, Asians, black kids, but nobody else dressed the way that I dressed. We had to wear a uniform, but on like dress down days and stuff, I would just like dress crazy, and people just thought I was like a weirdo. And then in the 10th grade going into the 11th, when I finally graduated, I switched schools and I went to a Catholic school, which was really interesting because even then it was more white people, it was more white kids, and I think there were probably less than 10 black kids in my school, in my Catholic school. And so just not being the majority there was really difficult, and then being weird and like shaving my eyebrows and like wanting to dye my hair and wanting to wear my natural hair curly and not wanting to wear weaves at that time. And then like having like a long weave and then taking it out and having like like curls the next day. Like I would just be like, oh my gosh, wow, you cut your hair? And I'm like, honey, no. Like, so it was weird. It was honestly weird. And then in my Catholic school, we had a uniform as well. And then on dress down days, I would like either be super girly and like wear like heels and like skirts and just like pink everything, or I would be like gothic and I would just be weird, or I would just be bummy and I just didn't want to be bothered. And so it was like on the days that I dressed more like goth, more like, I've always wanted to do this. I might do this, honestly, but when I always wanted to dress like Scene, and so I always like took the opportunity to just do crazy stuff and like just push my parents to allow me to do more and more things that were super outlandish and not black. We'll get to that in a minute. And people just looked at me like I was weird. Like, I remember just being told like, oh, you can't do that, like that's for white people, like why are you doing that white people stuff? And yeah, but anymore nowadays, because of like people literally like Rico Nasty, Doja Cat to me is like weird, like people like that are more like weird and just like in their own element and like just awesome, like with their just like no eyebrows, colorful wigs, like just them being them and them being like alternative and gothic and just all of these different styles that they have. It was just like, okay, like this is even more of a reason to just step outside the box. So anymore nowadays, it's not as hard. But when I was younger, it was really, really hard. Anymore nowadays, I feel like it's becoming more of a thing amongst black girls to just be total and complete weirdos and just be like, screw anybody else that has anything to say about it. So it's awesome. I love it now. The next question is, how have white people responded to you? So it's actually really funny and really interesting. When I was younger, like growing up, I was never, like, I listened to rock music, I listened to Screamo, like, the whole nine yards. And so the white kids in my school, like, loved that I listened to that type of music, and I was into, like, what was it? Oh my god. Bring Me the Horizon, and freaking, like, what is that other band? Sleeping with Sirens. What is that? Pierce the Veil. Black Veil Brides. Like, I was into all of that. Like, and so the white kids loved it. And then when it came to, like, the black kids, they were like, why are you doing that? And I was just like, it's awesome. Like, you should listen to it. But so that's when I was younger, and then kind of like growing up, it got weird because I was white enough, because I listened to those type of things, but then I wasn't white enough because I was black, you know what I mean? So I never got any like negative vibes. It was just some more of like an underlining of it would be more acceptable if I was white, and if I was a girl who like liked that type of stuff, it would be more acceptable. Now it's actually a funny story because my boyfriend is white, and so I've like met his entire family, and every time they've seen me, except for his mom, I've always been like dressed up in some sort of like gothic, like no eyebrows, like all of that. And so they were like, wow, you're so pretty. And I never got any like negative like vibes or like any negative things like said to me by his family. And I remember the first day, so we drove from Georgia to Ohio, and I met her at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had this 46-inch blonde, this 46-inch 613 wig on, and no eyebrows, long fingernails, like just out to here, like longer than these, and they were all black. And I don't remember like what I was wearing. I think I was just in like sweatpants. But the next day I like did my makeup, like she hadn't seen me yet, and so I like did my makeup, and I was in this jean jacket that I thrifted, and it was like an old baby fat jean jacket, and it was like super tight. And then I was in bell bottoms and like 6-inch like black and white heels, and I was like, I think I had like just like kind of like gothic makeup on, like black lipstick, like really thin eyebrows. My new thing is either no eyebrows or thin eyebrows. I've been loving thin eyebrows lately. And she was just like, you're so pretty. I was just like, thank you. Like, it just made me happy that she wasn't like she didn't look at me like, oh my god, she's a weirdo, my son needs to get away from her. But it was just really funny to like kind of see her reaction to like what I was wearing, and it was just really funny. So it's so funny, like I feel like I've gotten so many, and maybe it's just the people that I hang around, the people that I've exposed myself to, but it's so like even among like black people now and like white people. And I've never like, growing up, I got so much crap for like dressing like how I dress and like just being like weird. And like now, like everybody's like, I love your hair pink, like white and black people, like anybody that I meet and they like see my different style, they're just like, you're awesome, like that's so cool. And so my boyfriend is currently at his uncle's and his cousin's house, and his cousin's name is Mason. And so I think like it was like a couple nights in, and we like had, or he rather, because it's his house, he had a bonfire and like invited his friends over. And I had literally just, which that's a whole nother like video, but I had food poisoning, and so I didn't feel good at all. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go upstairs. And my hair was like dirty. It had like a bunch of like gel and stuff in it from like days before, and I was like, I'm gonna wash my hair. And so, disclaimer, Mason is of age, okay? So when I say this, don't be like, are y'all illegally, like, young drinking? Because he's well older than me. So I remember, like, washing my hair, and then, like, I came, and it was, like, in this big, like, afro, and I came out of the bathroom, and I got dressed and all that stuff, and I went to the backyard where they were having the bonfire, and he, like, looked at me and was like, I love your hair like that. It's just, like, whenever I get compliments, I turn into, like, this weird, like, I don't know how to take a compliment. I always get, like, like, I make, like, I don't know why I'm like that, but I am. That hurt. But I am, and it's weird, and I wish I wasn't, but I don't know how to stop it, okay? So I was just like, thanks. So yeah, so anyway, on to the next question. What does your family think? So, my dad was actually the person that introduced me to the alternative lifestyle. He is 53, I want to say. And he has, like, his nipple pierced, like, all these tattoos. Like, my dad is, like literally my favorite person in the entire world when it comes to, like, alternative things. Because he's just weird. Like, we're literally, like, the same person. And so he was really into, like, rock. And he, like, drove a motorcycle and was, like, part of a biker gang and, like, the whole 9 yards. And I remember, like, going to his friend's houses to, like, get, like, tattoos and stuff. Like, I was, like, young, so it was tattoos for him. But I just remember, like, seeing my dad sitting in a tattoo chair and, like, watching this, like, big, burly, like, bald-headed white guy that was, like, in his biker gang, like, tattoo, like, a phoenix on his chest. And just being so infatuated and, like, so proud that, like, this was my dad. It was, like, the coolest thing ever. So he's the one that, like, really introduced me to, like, being alternative. And I remember, literally, I think we were going to Aruba. I was, like, 7 years old. And this is how young I was, how far back it goes. He had a red Zune. And it was just, like, it's so old. And I remember, like, him letting me listen to music while we were on the plane, and I remember stumbling upon Evanescence, and I fell in love. And, like, ever since then, that was my thing. Like, I was hooked. So my dad is, like, super supportive of it. Like, he just doesn't care, like, what I wear. He's like, if it makes you happy, if you're not, like, depressed, suicidal, want to kill yourself, trying to fit into society, like, do you, Sydney? And he's always been like that. Like, he bought me my first black lipstick, and it was, like, this, I think it was, like, this big. It was, like, that big. And it was in this, like, clear tubing. And I remember, like, seeing it and being like, it's black lipstick. And my whole family was like, don't do that, Ken. My dad's name is Ken. Don't do that, Ken Jr. Do not. And he was like, it is my daughter. And so he bought it for me. And instantly I was like, yes. Yes. The rest of my family, love them, but they know this is the truth, okay? They think I dress like a total slut, to be honest with you. Part of it is because, like, I do, and, like, so what? And the other part is mainly just, like, generational, like, what was modest and not okay back then is, like, different than us now. And you can only blame that on generation. So I don't really, like, it doesn't bog me down or make me not want to dress the way I dress. I dress the way I dress. And it's so funny because my auntie, and I know she's gonna watch this, we always have this thing where she'll be like, hey Sid, like, do you want to run to, like, Walmart with me or whatever? And I'm like, give me 15 minutes. And, like, I go and I just throw on, like, just weird, like, just anything. And, like, no eyebrows, just come back like this. And she, like, looks at me and she's like, looks me head to toe. She's like, that's what you're wearing? And I'm like, yup. She's like, all right, let's go. And like, that's our thing. Like, every time we go somewhere, that's just, she's like, that's, all right, let's get in the car. Let's go to Walmart. So most of my family, they want me to dress differently, like not show as much skin as I do and stuff like that. But other than that, like, they're super supportive of just like everything I do. As far as like shaving my eyebrows, like coloring my hair, like my grandmother at this point, she's just like, Sydney is Sydney, and she's gonna have pink hair. She's gonna shave her eyebrows. Like, who knows what Sydney's gonna, like, I live upstairs, like, and it was always what is Sydney gonna come downstairs wearing? We don't know. We'll see when she comes down. But they're super supportive. They just, like, want me to be modest and stuff, which sometimes I am. Like, I give them what they want sometimes. The next question is, what does your boyfriend think? Okay, so my boyfriend, he doesn't really say anything about, like, what I wear, because I think it's just like normal for him now. Like, we met on Tinder. If you don't know, we met on Tinder, and all of my pictures, I think I posted like 4 pictures on Tinder. All of my pictures were weird. So I had like long black hair on one of the pictures. The other picture I had, I was wearing like just this like gothic outfit. It was like this like plaid skirt with this shirt. It's like what is this called? A bodysuit and like some sneakers. Another picture, I had hot pink hair, and then I had 30 inches of blonde 613 pigtails. And I was in like this galaxy shirt with silver pants, like silver biker shorts, and rollerblades. And so I mean, if he didn't like it, he wouldn't have swiped right. Feel me? So obviously, like, he liked that I was weird, and he even told me like he was so like amazed by it because I was just like weird and I rollerbladed, and he thought that was the coolest thing ever. So he also wants me not to show as much skin, but like he'll be okay. Sometimes I cover up in the winter when it's cold and I put a sweater on. Like, there you go. But he's really supportive of like everything I do. Like, just, I'm so lucky, honestly, to be in a family and have a boyfriend and have friends that are like really supportive of me. I don't think I've ever had anybody in my circle ever tell me that I was a weirdo or that I like shouldn't be doing that because I'm black or anything like that. Even my ex-boyfriend, he was black and he loved it. Like, he was just really supportive as well. So I'm just really lucky to honestly have that, and it's something that I don't take for granted ever, ever, ever. So the last question, what is on my foot? I walked outside barefoot today, so it could be anything. So the last question is, how did you know you were different? So, it definitely was when we went on our family vacation to Aruba, and I listened to Evanescence for the first time, and I was like, and I remember listening to Lenny Kravitz, which I saw in concert. Love him. And I remember on the plane as well listening to Evanescence, and just honestly, like, they made love inside my earlobes, okay? That's how much I love them from jump. And the first song I heard from them was Bring Me to Life. Bring Me to Life. And I was just like, yes. I didn't know what sex was back then, but they were making love. They were having sex inside my earlobes. That's how I just have to describe it. Like, picture it, and that's how it is. And I remember, like, just being in love with them. And then when we got back to our home in New Jersey, I started to, now back then, my family at least, I don't know about anybody else's family, but I didn't have a phone when I was like young. I didn't have like an iPad or an iPhone or like iPhone 3G or anything like that, like not even the old ones. So we had a universal, we all shared the office. And so if I needed to do like homework online, which wasn't a big thing back then, it was mainly like research projects and stuff that we would have to print off pictures. I would have to go into the office to sit on the computer and print off what I needed. So I remember like Googling like Evanescence and seeing the way that she dressed and like seeing her long like dark hair and just knowing that like I wanted to do that. Like I wanted to like dress super weird and like just with like combat boots and just the whole 9 yards. I just kind of always knew I was different. And that's literally why I have this tattoo. It says homesick. It's like a little alien because I've always been weird. I've always been like, where's my mothership? Like, she needs to round me up, beam me up, because I'm too weird and like nobody is like accepting me. Nobody understands me. And I know that sounds like super like, oh my God, like I'm so emo. But it was true. Like, nobody understood like that I wanted to like be weird, and not wanted to be weird, but that I was just weird, and I didn't want to be at that time because it was just like too hard, you know what I mean, like being who I was. But then I was like depressed because being non-weird is not me, like I'm a weird person. And like a couple of years later, I remember sitting in my dad's office after my parents' divorce. He bought a new house. So sitting in that office and watching the Christian music channel, and this like rock and roll band pops up and they're like singing and like she's like screaming, and Flyleaf, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Okay? Flyleaf was my shiz, okay? I loved her. I loved them. Just like everything. I have an old poster. I went through my storage from when I used to live in like the other house in New Jersey, not the one I currently live in, of just like bins and bins and bins, and found an old poster that I had of them. And it was just so like nostalgic. But then I like realized that like I liked rock and roll music and stuff even more, so I started to like venture out and listen to screamo, and I think I was like about 13 years old is when I started like heavy like getting into it, because I was like, at this point I'm just gonna be who I am, and like anybody who like, it hurt, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I was so confident, like, I just did what I wanted to do, because I didn't. Like, I was depressed because nobody, I felt like at least, understood that, and understood that I could be into screamo and be into, you know, like, music that was dark and not worship Satan, and like be normal and be black. And so like for years and years and years I cut because of that, and because of like bullying because of that. And it was like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, it's just like so easy, because it wasn't. But then like at 13 I was just like, I love this music and I'm gonna listen to this music. And so I remember having I'm so old. I was like, feel old. I remember having a CD player in my room that was connected to like these giant speakers, and I played like Flyleaf just at like full volume all the time in my house. And my family was just like, Sydney. But my dad, because he was supportive, was like, let her listen to it. Like, let her rock out in her room. I was like jumping up and down, like flipping off the stuff, breaking stuff, like on accident. But it was just like, at that point, I was just kind of in it like fully, and that's when my dad bought me the black lipstick. And because it was looked at as like, oh, Sydney listens to that, she must worship Satan, everybody was like, if you buy her that black lipstick, like, you're only gonna ingrain in her that, like, this is okay. And my dad was like, she doesn't worship Satan. Black lipstick is not going to send her to hell. And it was awesome. Like, shout out to my dad. Like, I'm gonna tell him to watch this video because you're like such an OG. But I was like 14, 15 when I transferred schools. Because I hated my old school. My old Christian school was awful, and I'm not gonna say the name of it because I'm not gonna like air anybody out like that, but it was awful. And there was a lot of things wrong with like the people in that school and like their mentality, and like the students were awful, evil people. And so when I transferred out of that school into a Catholic school, it honestly, I didn't transfer because it was like, oh, I want to go to a Catholic school. It was literally because other kids in my school transferred out and went to the Catholic school. And I've heard like good things about it. Like, they're awesome. They drink, they party. Yes, kids are gonna drink, kids are gonna party. And I thought it was the coolest thing. And at that point is when I got into just like going into it more, and then kind of like finding people that were black, that were white, that were Asian, that were whatever they were, that like didn't have a problem with me being who I was. And then like 11th, 12th grade, it was weird because I was still like a weird black girl, and there was like 10 of us in that school. And for that reason, I was really intimidating. Like, when I graduated, like, so many people were like, you intimidated me, and that's why I didn't talk to you. And I had like all these dudes like come into my DMs like telling me how like intimidated they were of me because I was like this like alternative, like goth, they didn't call it alternative, but they said like goth, like black chick. And I was just like, I am the sweetest baby angel you'll ever meet. Like, what is wrong with you? I'm so nice. But it like weirded people out and intimidated them, and it was whatever. So I graduated high school, blah, 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 blah. I went to college and I walled out. I'm not gonna lie. Like, because I was getting like a allowance at that point because I was in college, and my dad and my family and stuff, they were just like, I want to make sure that you're never like broke in college. And so they would like send me money, and I took my happy little self right over to Dolls Kill and just spent it. Just like balled out. And I was like the weird black girl on campus. There were other black girls on campus that were like the same, that were just like, you're so pretty. And I was like, no, you're pretty. And they were like, no, 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 you're pretty. And that's how I made friends. And it was awesome. And like the more and more girls that I found that were just like weird, it was dope. It was really, really dope. So having black alternative friends that's really important for any black girl. Having black friends is important. Having white friends is important, but seeing yourself represented and just, it's awesome. Like, it's something that anymore nowadays, I'm so excited for like my kids to grow up, because there's things that they'll get to experience when they were younger that I just never got to experience. So that's the end of my video. I know it's 35 minutes. I talk a lot, which is literally why that was only 6 questions. I'm a talker, I'm sorry. I hope you weren't weirded out too much by the weird crap that I was doing in this video, and I hope that you liked it, and I hope that you didn't pay too much attention to my background, because it is 2:30 in the morning, and I'm tired. I was in bed, and then I was like, you know what, Sydney, you gotta be productive, and so I filmed 2 videos. I might film another one, it really depends, because I'm not tired at all. Anyway, I hope you liked it. Like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to be the positivity that you want to see in the world. We have enough crap going on right now with... so much is going on. But we have enough with, like, just politics right now, with racism, that you can evidently see that has really brought out like the xenophobia in different countries, and I can only speak for America, that I've seen in America against the Asian population. Don't be racist. It is not the Chinese virus. No person that is Asian looking is gonna like bite you and you catch something. Like, stop. Like, it literally, if you think like that, like, you need to go to like a mental institution, okay? Because at this point, there's something wrong, okay, honey? There's something wrong. But anyway, enough. I'm not gonna go on a rant. I'm gonna end it nicely. Be the positivity that you want to see in the world. It is more important anymore nowadays to, if you lacked something and you're out. My nails are really sharp and I stab myself all the time. But anyway, if you lacked something in your childhood or in your life, putting that energy out could bring it back to you. And even like putting that energy out could make somebody else feel what you never got to feel. So don't forget to just like be positive, like be nice to people. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a butthole. All right? Be nice and be positive and quarantine the correct way. I'm not quarantining the correct way because my boyfriend's flying in next week. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it's essential. He's an essential worker in this house, so he gets to come home, okay? Anyway, I'm going to end the video because if I don't, I'm going to keep on rambling. So I love you guys, and let's see when this video is going to go up because we don't know. Bye.